Today our topic is absolute value. The Mamins Bobcats football team is well regarded in Katy. John ran 8 yards. Greg, however, lost 5 yards. Saul had a turnover and dropped the football at 18 yards. Paul made a touchdown by running 7 yards. Write each football player yardage as an integer. Well, if I think of a number line, John ran 8 yards. Again, positive numbers are to the right, negative numbers are to the left. So John ran 8 yards. That's positive. Or just plain old 8. You don't have to put a plus sign. Greg, however, lost 5 yards. So Greg will be right here, negative 5. Saul had a turnover and dropped the ball at negative 18 yards. I'll be way down here. That'll be Saul, negative 18. Paul made a touchdown by running 7 yards. So I'll be right here, and that will be Paul, positive 7, or plus 7, or just 7. So that's how you write it as an integer. I'm using the key phrases to help me. Find the absolute value of each player's yardage. Well, absolute value means the distance from 0. Let's start with Saul. To write absolute value, you draw the absolute value bars. How many units from 0 is negative 18? It is 18 is the absolute value for 18 is the answer for the absolute value of negative 18. That's 18 units from 0. Or you can say the distance. What's the distance, Saul, from 0? 18 feet. What about Greg? Let's draw the absolute value sign. How many units from 0 is Greg? He is 5 units away from 0, or 5 feet away. Paul, he is, what's the absolute value of 7? 7. He is 7 units, or 7 feet from 0. And last but not least, let's start with John. What's the absolute value of 8? He is 8 feet from 0. Which player ran the most? Which player had the greatest distance from 0? Well, some people say, well, it's 8. Not negative 18, that's negative. But we're talking about distance. Which player? Oh, so it must be Saul. Because remember, his distance is 18 feet from 0. Even though it's negative 18, the distance from 0 is 18 feet. That's the absolute value. And last but not least, in total, how many yards did the team run? So we have 18 feet distance of Saul. We have 5 feet from Greg, 7 feet from Paul, and 8 feet from John. If you add this up, 8 plus 8 is 16. Plus 5 is 21. Plus 7 is 28. Carry the 2. You have 38 feet. That is the distance the team ran. All right, so next slide. So today our keyword is absolute value. It's the number of units or distance between an integer and 0 is called absolute value. So for example, negative 10. It is 10 units from 0. So if I wanted to find the absolute value of negative 10 by drawing the absolute value bar, the answer will be 10. 10 units from 0. What's the distance of positive 10 from 0? It is 10 units from 0. So let's look at this example. Let's go to this example. Click on the arrow to help you decide if negative 15 and positive 15 are the same distance from 0. So, if I click on the arrow, is negative 15, how many units from 0 is negative 15? Let's find the absolute value of that. It is 15 units. 5, 10, 15. What about positive 15? How many units from 0 is positive 15? Let's find the absolute value. It is 15. So are they the same distance from 0? Yes. Opposite numbers share the same absolute value. It is the same distance from 0. So let's do 12. If you look at the number line, 12. What's the distance from 12 from 0? Just 12. What about negative 15? What's the distance of negative 15? Let's go back. Negative 15 will be right here from 0. Oh, 15. What about negative 2 and 5/10? What's the distance from 0? 2.5 or 2 and 5/10 or 2.5. So you're at 5. You back up 2 units. Wouldn't that be 3? So you're 3 units from 0? It is. What about 3? And then you go forward by 7. So how many units from 0 are you? 10. And last but not least, you're at negative 1. Negative 1 will be right here. And you go 10 spaces forward. What's the distance? Total distance. So negative 1 is 1 unit from 0. 10 units from 0. Isn't 1 plus 10 going to be 11? And it is. Let's go to the next screen. Next screen. Let's try a different example, more expressions. So let's try this one. Negative 8 is how many units from 0? It's 8 plus negative 7 is 7 units from 0. So the total distance is, will be 15? It is. What about, I don't know, this one. Negative 16. How many units from 0 is it? It's 16 units from 0. Takeaway. Let's look at this absolute value. 8. 8 units from 0, but then you add, it goes 3 spaces forward. Wouldn't that be 11 units from 0? So if you're at 16 and you back up 11 spaces, wouldn't it be just 5 units from 0? It is. So let's go to our last example. Let's look at this one. A bird is flying 6 feet above the water. A fish is swimming 5 feet below the surface of the water. What is the distance between the bird and the fish? Show your answer with a picture. I want you to tell me, how far is this bird from this fish? You know what? I'm going to draw a vertical number line. 0. Well, 0 will be right here. This is where the water meets the sky. So this must be positive. This must be the positive side. This must be the negative. If this is above sea level, positive. Below sea level, negative. So the bird is 6 feet above the water. 1 feet, 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet above water. The fish is 5 feet below the water. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, and negative 5. Catfish. Actually, so this must be a lake then, because catfish needs fresh water. So what is the distance? So let's do the first one. The bird, what is his distance from 0? 6. So finding the absolute value of 6 is 6. The fish, what is his distance from 0? And so let's find the absolute value of negative 5. Isn't he 5 feet from 0? So the bird is 6 feet from 0. The fish is 5 feet from 0. So what is the distance between them? Oh, so they want us to add this up. 6 plus 5 is 11. That's the total distance from this. So this is the study of absolute value. Absolute value is the distance from 0.